Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Commexis Cast Daily, all the news you need to know from our inbox to yours. I'm Matthew McGordy, the videographer and podcaster here at Commexis, and today I'm joined by the lead strategist at Commexis, Philip Brooks.
And Abominable Snowman.
And the president of Commexis, Len Ward.
Good afternoon.
So our story for today, Twitter has been doing some bot bannings, and this comes from a Twitter blog post that they made on February 21st. So as of that date, Twitter is no longer permitting identical or even substantially similar content to be simultaneously posted from multiple accounts. And you can no longer like, retweet, or follow an account from multiple accounts at once. They also mentioned that they're going to be taking away this functionality from things like TweetDeck and editing their API, so you're no longer able to do it. So a quote from Yoel Roth, who wrote the blog post. He is the head of API policy and product trust at Twitter. These changes are an important step in ensuring we stay ahead of malicious activity targeting the crucial conversations taking place on Twitter, including elections in the United States and around the world. So there's a couple specific things that they outline in their policy. Just in summary, sort of what I already said, you cannot post simultaneous or substantially similar content to multiple accounts, and your users are also not allowed to do this. You cannot simultaneously perform actions, likes, retweets, follows, etc. And any form of automation, including scheduling, to post identical or substantially similar content, or to perform actions, such as likes or retweets, across many accounts that have authorized your app is not permitted. So these changes are coming up hot. Specifically, so since June 2017, Twitter has said that they have removed more than 220,000 applications in violation of our rules, collectively responsible for, get ready for this, 2.2 billion, quote, low-quality tweets, Twitter said last month. So, I mean, I guess the obvious thing is, what do we think about this? But my favorite part is what determines, as Philip mentioned before the show, what determines a low-quality tweet?
Yeah, because I got a news for you. I look at my news feed, and I don't know what actually constitutes a quality tweet at this point. But, yeah, I think this is an extension in a lot of ways to what they did a couple months ago when they started identifying duplicate accounts to delete them or ban them. I think that those that they probably didn't catch will get caught by this, because these are accounts that are created solely for the purpose of amplifying content, getting that message out there through some of these bogus accounts, and I think this is just an end around on that same kind of with the same thing to find these guys and get rid of them once and for all for the most part. So we know that buying followers and a lot of these artificial methodologies for creating followers on Twitter they run rampant. We have lots of examples of people having done that, and we know, we even know how people do it. Obviously, there's a lot of apps and things that can do that for you, and I think that, this is, as always, anything that improves the community of the site itself is a positive for the average user, and I think that's really, what they're trying to go for here. But I just want to make sure we say with caution, when our social media teams, we don't do anything with multiple Twitter accounts. That's not how we do things here. We absolutely would not ever do anything like that. And nothing that we do would put you in any danger of being caught in any of this. Again, we don't perform multiple actions with the single Twitter accounts. That there's no reason why your brand should have multiple Twitter accounts unless you have very siloed kind of secondary functions or something like that. So I wouldn't, and if anybody's concerned about that, I just want to make sure we put those to rest.
Yeah, and I think even most users or most brands or most social media coordinators or stuff like that aren't doing most of these actions anyway. These are pretty targeted at, hey, these are the kind of people and accounts and bots that we're going after from Twitter's perspective, because most people don't need to do that. You're not duplicating content across multiple channels unless you're doing it for some sort of malicious reason. Right. So before the show started, Len, you showed us Twitter's stock price rising. How much do you think sort of comes in the aftermath of some of these announcements, and do you think any of it has to do with sort of the quote unquote brand safety, more assurance from this?
That's going to help. I mean, at the end of the day, Wall Street's going to they're going to be looking how much money ad dollars are on there. That's what they're going to look for. But I think that what they're doing right now is just Twitter's kind of taking the right step forward and are saying we're trying to become legitimate. We're trying to be part of the community. That community being Facebook and Google, where we are a viable social platform. a platform where we're trying to get rid of all of this junk on the left-hand side, where people can start having open dialogue and conversations. You're never going to get rid of the trolls. You're never going to get rid of the people who hide behind Twitter and start firing off whatever. But I've long said, although I'm not ready to put ad dollars in it yet, I think there's a place for Twitter. Right now, I think it's really meant more for, like I said, watching live events or watching events. I think it's really good for having as a news feed. I don't necessarily know if it's something clients should be advertising on just yet. I just don't think there's enough followers, or enough users there yet. But I think if more and more people see that Twitter's trying to clean themselves up, I think that's the indication, which is twofold, which is Wall Street's always looking for. Number one, how many users, legitimate users, are out there, because that's the market we're going to market to. And number two, what type of ad platforms can we use to generate revenue for the company? So I know people poo-pooed Twitter for a long time. I think it's here to stay. I actually think Twitter is going to you're going to hear a lot from Twitter in 18 and 19. So it's just another step in the right direction. I'm a fan of Twitter. I like it.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that question, because I was wondering how much of this could be a prelude to looking to get sold by having to actually identify how many of their users are legitimate people, so they can get an accurate number of the amount of influence they can generate. Well,
if they keep the stock price going the way it's going, it might not even be about them being sold. It might now be about them merging or them acquiring something. So once the worm turns here a little bit, that could happen as well. But I do think Twitter in a couple different platforms would work really, really well. And I think there's some companies that it would really work for. But let's see them keep doing what they're doing right now. But it's a good move.
All right. Well, the policy changes are going to come into effect on March 23rd, 2018, specifically for any apps or services that might allow you to do these either multiple retweeting or multiple likes or multiple posting. So that'll be coming March 23rd, but I can assume that we'll be seeing a lot more bot and Twitter bannings in the coming month from now as this sort of rolls out officially. Well, thank everybody for tuning in to today's episode of the Commexis Cast Daily. Check us out next week for more of the latest trading news. Have a great day.
Thanks.